This is KEPM.
Hello, my name is Jordan Salcido, and this is an excuse to make something. This week, I visited an exhibit at the Rio Hondo College Library called Through the Eyes of the Child, a children's learning exhibit put on by our very own Child Development Center, featuring artwork made over the course of the school year. While I was visiting, I ran into the artists themselves, students from the ages of 2 to 4, who were beaming with pride and excitement to see their work on display. With permission from staff, I recorded a few interviews with them, but once I pulled out my phone to record, they were a little shy, which I don't blame them. I also freeze up around microphones. Did you have butterflies in your classroom?
Yes.
Oh, what did you learn about butterflies?
I don't know.
How does it feel to see it on display at the library?
Good.
I also spoke to staff member Maru Peraza, who shared more about their process.
This is a project for Earth Day, and the Children and Child Development Center, they work so hard for about months because they focus on the art, on the science, on the creation of something that is related with the nature. In this exhibition, they put that thing that is for buggies, for insects. You see, everything is related.
The Child Development Center has made an effort to center the students' learning around the cycles of nature and experiences they have in their outdoor environment. As Maru gives us a tour, she explains their exploration of rocks in the garden, roly-polies and snails found in the soil, and a very special friend, a monarch butterfly named Cupcake, who they raised from caterpillar to chrysalis to his final form, a butterfly. Through these experiences, students learned about science and anatomy and the cycles of life. And to honor Cupcake after he'd passed away, students created a metal sculpture to celebrate his life and the memories they made with him. The gallery opens with this memorial and features student photographs taken with a small digital camera.
It's a photos that they take it by this little camera.
I'd encourage you to come by and take a look. It's open until April 30th. And they even have some really cool merch you can purchase, like pins and stickers featuring their artwork, rock keychains, and a gallery magazine, with all the proceeds benefiting the center.
Everything related to the air. Our Child Development Center tried to include each science as a Rio Hondo have, like science, art, biology. Everybody is included in this project.
And if you're feeling inspired after visiting the exhibit and looking to create something for yourself, but maybe need some supplies or tools to help you get started, the Whittier Public Library has a makerspace. I spoke to their manager to share a little bit more about what they have to offer.
My name is Megan Briefman. I'm a librarian here at the Whittier Public Library, and I run our makerspace. It's many things. Here at the Central Library specifically, it is a room where people can come and use tools, materials, equipment, etc. to be creative. We also have a makerspace at our Whitwood branch. So every makerspace is a little different. Some are much more like tech focused, like you'll find some makerspaces that have like robotics and things like that. And then some are more craft, quote unquote, focused, not to diminish that in any way. It's just whatever the community's interested in. And Whittier is very crafty. Whittier loves their crafts. Nothing in the space is able to be checked out yet. As of right now, everything kind of stays in the space. So yeah, we do have sewing machines. We have Cricut machines. We do have 3D printing services. That's one of our most popular things we have.
And if you're wondering what that whirring sound is in the background, it's the 3D printer busy at work.
Also, we have an embroidery machine here at the Central Library. We also have plenty of other just like regular arts and craft supplies, markers, crayons, paper, stuff for doing collage, zines, journaling, yarn crafts, so like knitting, crochet, etc. And then people are also more than welcome to bring their own supplies and kind of use our things to like supplement whatever project they're working on. I love it, but it's like a love-hate relationship with problem solving. I'll use the 3D printers as an example. 3D printing is very fun. It can be very rewarding, but it is also one of the most frustrating like hobbies because I'll say the printers don't work more often than they do work. So it's a lot of getting your hands in there, playing around with it, and trying to figure out what's wrong. And the same goes for anything else. It's, you know, getting hands-on with something and like learning how to do something on the fly, and like, okay, you're figuring it out and you're like, okay, I've hit a roadblock, so let me go to YouTube real quick and like see what some other options are, see if anybody else has come across this problem. So I really like that process. I've always been a very like crafty person, very hobby kind of person. I joke that my hobby is that I collect hobbies, that I don't actually have like any specific hobby. This room is kind of like an extension of my own brain in that I wish my craft room at home was this organized, but it's not. It is a chaos. But in here, I'm able to like keep everything organized. Everything has a place. There's a place for everything. So yeah, I like the organization. I like the figuring things out.
I love that, and I also love too. I think it works the same here, but I know that at the Octavia Lab, it's, you know, they have all the stuff there, but it's self-led, and so, you know, it's like if you want to use this, you gotta kind of figure it out. And they have like tutorials and things, but I think that's a nice part of, you're not just gonna come in and someone's gonna like have it ready to go. You have to do a little bit of the work yourself, and it's fun to teach yourself, and you know, of course, they're there to support, but that part's fun. That part's fun.
100%, and it's I'm glad you mentioned that too, because our makerspace works the same way. It is we consider it a self-directed DIY space. So when people come to use the sewing machines or the embroidery machine, we have lots of resources available to kind of like help people figure it out. If it's something we are able to kind of like assist with and troubleshoot, we will. Like, I'm not going to sit here and watch someone struggle using a sewing machine when I am perfectly capable. But not every one of our staff who works the makerspace is an expert at everything. So we try not to set the expectation that like you're going to get like a hands-on tutoring of how to use every single thing in the room. But yeah, it is very much a DIY, figure it out yourself kind of space, and we try to provide as many resources. We have laptops up here with internet access, so like last resort is always YouTube. But yeah, I try to go online even and look for really good resources and like save them so that way people have access to those as well.
I also met with a comic book artist this week who teaches comic book classes for free for youth at the Liberty Community Plaza in South Whittier.
My name's Javier Hernandez. I'm a comic book creator. I'm a writer and artist. I've been self-publishing my own comics since 1998, so it's almost been 30 years. The character I'm best known for is El Muerto the Aztec zombie, which in 2007 was turned into an independent film starring Wilmer Valderrama. But yeah, I'm still working on El Muerto comics. I'm working on the latest graphic novel right now. And for the last year or two, I've been teaching classes here at HYC. Yeah, I went to Rio Hondo after high school, and I took life drawing, design. The thing about comics is it can be very, very inexpensive. Basically, you need a sheet of paper and a pencil. That's just the basics, what you need to start drawing the comic. You can have ink, you can have colors later and everything, but it's a very inexpensive art form. So it's a very good entry point for pretty much anybody. I mean, most art begins with paper and pencil, a lot of art. But like I always tell parents, it's like, man, if your kid is doing a comic, they're writing and drawing, and they create their own characters, and it's a privilege to be able to teach comics, because just to see what a young kid, especially a young kid, that they have all these ideas in their head. So a comic book is just a physical manifestation of that. My older brother, Albert, he inspired me because he used to collect comic books and he used to draw. So as a 7, 8-year-old, I'd see that, like, oh, I want to draw. Just like that. It was that simple. So I copied him. I started drawing my own things. And then when he got through high school, he wasn't into comics anymore. So he gave me like his big stacks of comics. Here, you want them? So here's me as an 8-year-old reading all these comics over and over again. So between the comics that I read and the drawing that I got inspired to do, that put me on the path eventually, years later, to make my own comics. So I wanted to create my own character. I wanted to create a Latino superhero. If you want to create something, whatever it is, go do it, go create it.
Before you go, I wanted to offer an excuse to make something that's actually quite practical. When I get home and empty my pockets, I'm always looking for a place to dump my keys and my wallet and receipts and whatever else they've collected throughout the day. And oftentimes that's a bowl. Most of us are familiar with paper mache, probably making piñatas at school, using newspaper and school glue and balloons. They're also traditionally made by coating a clay olla with, again, newspaper and instead using a wheat flour and water mixture. But unless you have a party to go to where a piñata would be useful, I thought instead we could make a bowl used to hold a variety of household items like your keys or jewelry, etc., but not food. We're definitely not going to be making something that would be food safe. So first, what you want to do is find a bowl that you like the shape of. You'd want to consider if you want to use the inside of the bowl as your mold or the outside. The inside will likely give you a smaller bowl with a rounded, more wobbly base, while using the outside of the bowl will produce a slightly larger shape with the rim of the bowl giving it a little bit more stability. Either works, so it's up to you if you want to try both and experiment and see what works best for you. I've also used glass, plastic, or ceramic or porcelain bowls. All work well, but there is a chance that the mixture can adhere to any printed material that exists already on the outside of your bowl. So just be careful and don't use your favorite bowl because, the design might rip off or it might be damaged in some way. And you just want to continue to make it like you would a piñata. So you want to start by ripping strips of newspaper, mix your glue with your water until it's a less thick consistency, and you can go ahead and start forming layers over your mold. So it's a little bit messy, but you'd want to coat the strips of paper in your glue mixture and create a layer, allowing each one to dry in between, and keep repeating the process until you have your desired thickness of your paper bowl. Once it's dried, you can paint it and decorate it, and most importantly, use it. I hope this gave you some inspiration to try something new just for fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.